Today we will see various topics for solving recurrence relations. Now what is a recurrence relation? So suppose we have a function, say t, which is defined on the set of natural numbers to real numbers, and a recurrence relation defining t is an equation which expresses each element t of I, which expresses Tn as a function of t0 to tn minus 1. Okay. So let's see some examples of recurrence relations. So you have already seen. So one example is maybe Fibonacci numbers, how these Fibonacci numbers are defined. For example, you can Fibonacci numbers. So how it is defined? We define fn, nth Fibonacci number is fn minus 1 plus fn minus 2, and you define f0 equal to 0 and f1 equal to 1. So in today's class we will look at a particular type of recurrence relations, and given a recurrence relation, how can we come up with closed form solutions or closed form upper bounds. Okay, so that is our topic today. So solving recurrence relations of the form Tn equal to a t n by b plus fn, where a is greater than equal to 1 and b is greater than 1. Okay, and fn is a positive function. Fn is an asymptotically positive function. Is an asymptotically positive function. What do you mean by that? That is fn equal to omega 1. Okay, and we will try to come up with a, so this is our topic for today's class. So we will try to find, our goal is to find closed form upper bounds for the function Tn, solving these recurrence relations. So to motivate this form of recurrence relations means why only this form of recurrence relations. So this form of recurrence relations appear very often or most of the time in running time analysis of typical algorithms. So for example, if you look at merge sort, so merge sort, what is the pseudocode of merge sort? Merge sort is this. So here is merge sort. You pass an array a1 to n, and what you do is that if array contains more than one element. If array contains only one element, then there is nothing to sort, it is already sorted. If array contains more than one element, then what you do is that you divide the array into two parts, first part and second part. So m, you define it as n by 2, and then you first sort the left part, merge sort a1 to m, and then you sort the right part recursively a m plus 1 to n. Okay, and once you have these two sorted parts, you merge them. Merge a1 to n and you pass m. So the function assumes that a1 to m is sorted and a m plus 1 to n is sorted, and its goal is to merge these two sorted arrays, sorted subarrays, into one sorted array. Okay, now so this is merge sort. So now we want to compute what is the running time of merge sort. So running time, so let Tn be the running time of merge sort, say worst case running time, of merge sort. For n elements. Okay, so then what can we write? We write that Tn this time it makes two recursive calls to merge sort. The first recursive call, in the first recursive call, we pass an array of size m. So this is which takes time by the definition t n over 2. This is the first part, and the second part, the second recursive calls take t n over 2, and then we do merge. So merge takes big O of n time. If you don't know the algorithm, you try it. It is a very easy algorithm. This is big O of n. Okay. Now for the time being, let us ignore this ceiling and floors, and let's write this replace both ceiling of n by 2 and floor of n by 2 with n by 2. So this sort of becomes like t 2t n by 2 plus big O of n. Why and how we can do it, so we will come back to it later. Okay, so this is the recurrence relation, and maybe t1 is 1, big O of 1. Okay, so this recurrence relation we want to solve and find some nice closed form solution for Tn. So that is our goal. So method 1. Method 1, sometimes the most useful method. Method 1 is what is called recursion tree. Recursion tree. So what is a recursion tree? Recursion tree is a nice way of viewing the computation of a recursive function. So it is a rooted it is a rooted tree. So recursion tree, it is a rooted tree. And in every node we write the amount of time spent in that node except recursive calls. So as our model example, recall we want to solve recurrences of this form. So what is our recurrence relation? So let's write it here for easy access. Tn equal to a Tn by b plus Fn, and maybe this may be for all n greater than equal to some constant, and Tn equal to say some constant if for all n less than equal to n naught. Okay, so for first few terms, for first few terms 1 to n naught, Tn is small, whatever value it is constant, and beyond that it is defined using this recurrence relation. Okay, now let's draw a recursion tree. So the first root node is the computation time for Tn, or the root node is the value of Tn, and there you write, you ignore these recursive call, recursively defined terms, and write the rest of the part. So the root node is labeled with f of n. Okay, and then it makes a many recursive calls So for recursion tree method, assume to draw the recursion tree, assume a is an integer, a greater than equal to 1. Okay, so this root node has a many children, and this a many children, here we will draw a recursion tree for Tn by b. Now again, this node, the root of this subtree will be labeled with f of n by b. This is f of n by b. Okay, so what is the rule? In every node you label it with the amount of time spent on that node except the recursive call. So all these nodes will be f of n by b. And so on. So the next label, let me just draw one more label, maybe here. So these nodes will also have a many children, and it will be f of n by b square, f of n by b square. Okay, so this is the recursion tree. So this is here all the leaf nodes stay. And first observation is that if we so Tn is or less than equal to sum of labels of all nodes. In the recursion tree. Okay, so by definition of recursion tree, the sum of labels of all these nodes is the amount of time spent by the algorithm. So our job to solve Tn, or to get a good upper bound for Tn, we need to have a good upper bound on the sum of the labels of all the nodes. Okay, very nice. So one way to compute it is to compute it level by level. So let's compute it level by level. So what is the sum of all the labels in the first level, at the root level? It is f of n. What is for the second level? This level is, there are a many nodes and each label is f of n by b. Okay, so you will add these terms. So what is the sum of labels in this level? The third level, there are a square many nodes and each label is f of n by b square, and so on. So if there are L labels, so if this height is L, if this height of the tree is L, then the last term will be like a to the power L f of n by b to the power L. Okay, and what is the value of L? So this recursion stops. Suppose if n by b to the power L becomes 1, something like that, or falls below some constant n naught. So for the so L is say at most, because a, yeah, so L is at most what, or L is log of n base b. Okay, if the base case of the recursion is defined at 1, if it defined for more than for higher values more than 1, then the height will be only lesser. That's why I have used L is less than equal to log of n base b. Okay, now let's compute Tn. So Tn is less than equal to, you can write equal to, but you need to be very careful, and let me not do that. You can simply do less than equal, and anyway we are computing big O of this. We want to know what is the upper bound of Tn. Okay, so because if you write equal to, then you have to find, okay, what if n naught is 2 or n naught is 3, and will it hit exactly or not, or something like that. So let's not worry about these things. This will again be eaten by the big O notation. So let's write Tn is less than equal to these sums, f of n plus a times f of n by b, so on, a to the power L times f of n by b to the power L. Okay, so that's how Tn comes out to be. Now all you need to do is that you basically solve this recurrence. Okay, so in particular, so our job or goal or task, solve the above inequality. Okay, So depending on the function, if n and these constants a and b, it can be a tricky task, it can be a very easy task, it can be a difficult task. So this particular sum is especially very easy to evaluate for 3 cases. So this job is easy for 3 special cases. And these 3 special cases typically will cover most of your need in algorithm design analysis running time of any algorithm. So what are these 3 special cases? First case is case 1 is these terms. So this is a series, and every this series decays exponentially. Terms, let me write this way, terms decrease exponentially. What do you mean by that? Each term is a constant factor smaller than previous term. Okay, now if each term is constant factor smaller than previous term, this basically looks like a decreasing GP series, and then in GP series is GP is geometric progression. This GP series, the sum is always dominated by the highest term. Now, because if it is a decreasing GP series, or if this terms decreases exponentially, then the highest term will be the first term, Fn, and then we can write that Tn is big O of Fn in this case. Then we can write this. Okay. Another easy case is if terms increases exponentially. So terms increases exponentially. Terms increases exponentially. That means what? That is, each term is a constant factor larger than previous term. Okay, so in this case also the expression this series is a GP series, and it's an increasing GP series, and again we know that the sum of a GP series again is dominated by the highest term. The sum is a constant factor multiple of the highest order term. It is upper bounded by the constant factor multiple of highest order term, and because it is increasing, so this sum will be ordered. This sum will be dominated by the last term. So in this case, we will have Tn is equal to big O of a to the power L f of n by b to the power of L. Now what is f of n by b to the power L? Why the recursion tree stopped at this level, at level L? That stopped because f of that means if n by b to the power L must be less than n naught, and that's why this. So what is observation is that n by b to the power l is less than n naught. So in particular, f of n, and hence f of n by b to the power l is constant. Is a constant. Is upper bounded by some constant. So in this case, it becomes big O of a to the power l. And what is a to the power l? Let's put down the value of l. What was l? Here l was at most log of n base b. We are doing anyway upper bound big O, so we can simply replace l equal to log of n base b. Okay, and this also can be written as big O of n to the power log of a base b. Okay, so these are the two special cases which are very easy. Another very easy special case is if each term is equal. We said that this we have three special cases which are very easy. This finding upper bound on Tn is very easy for these special cases if all terms are equal. This is all terms are equal. Okay, if all terms are equal, then the sum, these terms are equal. So fn is same as a, fn by b, and so on. So then we have Tn is big O of each term is same as fn then, and we have l many terms. And what is l? L is log of n base b, and because we are writing big O, we can ignore this base b. We can simply write f of n times log n. You don't need to write. You don't need to write base of the logarithm. Okay. So this is the recursion tree method, and using this we can these three cases is categorized in what is called master theorem. So because these three cases are so common and so apparent, then that we write it explicitly as a theorem, which is popularly known as master theorem. But before that, let me make a comment. So here you see that while drawing a recursion tree, we assumed that a is an integer. So for example, a cannot be root 2 or say 2.5 or something like that, because a node can't have say root 2 children. Okay, that does not make sense. But this analysis makes sense for every a greater than or equal to 1. Why? You can also, instead of just skip drawing this recursion tree and simply expand. So what you do is that you expand a t n by b and write t n by b again using the recursive definition, and you will get the second term, and so on. Keep expanding till n by b to the power l hits the base case. So to write this step, you don't really need a recursion tree. What recursion tree does is that it gives a nice pictorial view of the computation that is going on. Okay, so to make these conclusions that Tn equal to big O of Fn if each term is decreasing exponentially and so on, these three conclusions, we don't really need the assumption that A should be a integer. This assumption, this result holds, this analysis holds except the recursion tree. Don't draw the recursion tree, and everything else holds for every a greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so we just get rid of that assumption. Okay. Now master theorem gives three again conditions corresponding to these three cases. Okay. So let's see what is master theorem. So suppose A is greater than or equal to 1, B is greater than 1, and Fn is a function and Tn is defined as, say, A Tn by B, what was our setup, plus Fn. Okay, then we have the following. Then first case is if Fn is big omega n to the power log of a base b plus epsilon for some constant epsilon, for some constant epsilon greater than 0, and if sorry, this is if, and if A f of n by b is less than c times Fn, again for some constant c, less than 1, this is for all less than 1 for sufficiently large n, then it turns out that if you expand it and write this series Tn less than or equal to what, then you will see that this series is a decreasing series, decreasing exponentially. These terms decrease exponentially, and in this case you can write Tn equal to theta okay, because if you here we are using equality, so if it is equality, then this inequality you can replace it with equality. So don't draw a recursion tree, you just simply expand, and then because it is a GP series, the sum is both upper bounded and lower bounded by the highest term, by some constant multiple of highest term. That's why you can write theta. So this you check that if these things hold, then the series that you get, the terms there decreases exponentially, and the first term Fn is the highest term. Second case is the one that increases exponentially. If Fn equal to big O of n to the power log of a base b minus epsilon for some constant epsilon greater than 0, then we have Tn equal to, because we have used Tn equal to, you can show both upper bound and lower bound, and thus you can show theta is n to the power log of a base b. In this case will correspond to the exponentially increasing series. Okay, and the third one is the what if both are same or all the terms are equal. If Fn equal to theta n to the power log of a base b, then Tn equal to theta n to the power log of a base b times log n. Okay. So this third case corresponds to the third case here. So I leave the proof to you. It is very easy. You just simply expand using just don't draw the recursion tree if a is not integer, and then you see that the GP series that you get, the series that you get will become a decreasing, exponentially decreasing series in the first case. In the second case, it will be the exponentially increasing series, and then in the third case, all the terms will be equal. So that's how you prove the master theorem. Okay, now let us justify why we can safely ignore floors and ceilings while computing asymptotic behavior of a function. Okay, so just for concreteness, let us take an example of March sort, and we saw that the recurrence relation for March sort is Tn equal to T floor of n by 2 plus T ceiling of n by 2 plus O of n. And we said that okay, you can simply ignore these floors and ceilings, and you can write this as a correct mathematical statement, as this is as Tn by 2 plus On. Now we will justify why and how you can write this and why it is a correct mathematical statement. Okay, but before that, again a more fundamental question can appear. So we define Tn to be a function which Tn is the running time of March sort if is the worst case running time of March sort if it is given an array of size n. Now does this make sense at all, this n by 2? Because if n is odd, then Tn by 2 is not defined. It does not it could not mean that the array size is say 31.5. If the initial array size is say 63, then n by 2 will be 31.5. So Tn by 2 is not yet defined. So that is it is very easy to take care of that. What we can do is that we can enlarge the domain and view T as a function of. So what is the problem? First, problem 1. That if n is odd, if n is an odd integer, then Tn by 2 is not defined. So it is easy to take care of this. Solution is that look for function. So let's solve for the function Tn over reals, which is defined for all real numbers. Whose value for integers matches with running time. Matches with running time of March sort. Okay, and that's it, because anyway the values of t for other than natural numbers does not matter, and so those values does not matter. So you define it arbitrarily. You just compute some t. You solve for t, pretend that t is defined over reals, and solve for t, which takes real numbers, whose domain is real numbers, and its value should respect this recurrence relation for integers, for positive integers. Then we are done. Okay, so this is the first problem we are done. And the second problem. So the second problem is, how can we ignore this ceiling and floor? So first observation is that we can we are, if you are computing upper bound, say, so if you are computing upper bound, you can overestimate. So Tn, you replace this floor with ceiling, the first floor, this floor with ceiling, and you can safely again assume that yeah, I think that's not required. You can simply overestimate it and write it 2 T n by 2. You replace the floor with ceiling, and this is big O of n. So because we are writing less than equal to, then it is yeah, or say big O of n. Okay, and ceiling of T n by 2 is less than equal to n by 2 plus 1. Plus big O. Okay, so using this trick, we have got rid of we have got rid of the ceiling and floor, but we have another annoying one here, this constant term. So how to get rid of these constant terms? So this the idea is what is called domain transform. So formally you define another function Sn, which is say Tn plus alpha. Alpha is a constant, and we will choose what alpha to pick. Let our analysis, let our calculation dictate what should be the value of alpha. Alpha is a constant. Okay, so we'll choose what is the value of alpha. And what we will try to go is, what is our goal? So goal is to choose alpha in such a way that Sn satisfies this recurrence relation. Sn is, we should be able to write that Sn equal to 2 Sn by 2 plus O of n. So yeah, our goal is to get rid of this annoying one here. Okay, so what is Sn? Sn, let's see what alpha we should choose so that we can do it. Tn plus alpha. And what is Tn plus alpha? This is 2 T n by 2 plus alpha by 2 plus 1 plus big O of n. Big O of n plus alpha is big O of n. And here, so this is less than equal to, sorry, this is from Tn. Just used this. Okay, and let's write it this T with in terms of S, because our goal is this. We will write the right hand side using S. So twice S n by 2 plus alpha by 2, sorry, minus plus 1 n. So if you go from T to n, you subtract alpha, and that's what you get. And now we will achieve our goal if this term is 0. If minus alpha by 2 plus 1 equal to 0, then we have got what we want to get, that Sn equal to 2s n by 2 plus O of n. So what alpha we should choose? Alpha we should choose as 2. Okay, and now follow our method, and if you follow our method, then you will see either master theorem or recurrence tree. You will see that S equal to big O of n log n. Okay, sorry, Sn equal to big O of n log n. Okay, and but our goal is to solve Tn. So Tn is, if you go from T to S, you subtract alpha, and alpha is 2. So this is big O of n minus 2 log of n minus 2 which is big O of n log n. So just do this calculation once in your lifetime, just to get convinced that if we are interested in asymptotic behavior, we can simply get rid of this this ceiling and floor business. Okay, and here is the formal justification why. That's why I said that this equality is a correct mathematical statement, because we are writing big O here. Okay, so that's why you can ignore floors and ceilings. So when you are solving recurrence solutions, you simply ignore floors and ceilings and first check that if it solves it, if any condition of the master theorem holds or not. In 99% of the cases, you will be done. And if in the rest of the cases you have to invent your own technique. So another popular technique is let me write another technique which is also very powerful, which is called substitution method or proof by induction, or solving Tn by induction. So this method is called substitution method. Okay, so substitution method is you first guess the solution, what is Tn, and then you solve it by induction. So let's see with an example. So maybe let's take this recurrent solution. Say Tn is, say, suppose 2 T, say n by 2 plus O of n. So because you are proving by induction, you want to have a first a clear mathematical statement without this big O notation. So what you can do is that you first, so if you are proving using substitution method, first get rid of all those asymptotic notations. How? So you write this as, this is 2 T n by 2 plus Cn. Okay, because if it is big O of n, this is Cn for all n greater than or equal to n naught. And of course we have Tn equal to some constant, say C prime, for all n less than n naught. Okay, so this statement, now assume that we are given this statement and we want to solve for Tn. Okay, sorry, this is not C, this is C times n. Okay, just to make it more fun, because it looks like it is big O of n log n, we have already seen. So just to make it more interesting, let's solve for this one. Maybe Tn equal to less than 2 T n by 2 plus, say, 5 plus Cn. Okay, and we are given this. This is for all n greater than or equal to n naught, and this is Tn equal to C prime for all n less than n naught. Okay, now you know that if this annoying 5 was not there, then the solution is n log n, big O of n log n, some constant times n log n. But this 5 is there, okay, but still I think this is a constant, it cannot harm the running time much. And so let's guess the running time to be Tn equal to big O of n log n. The first step is to guess the solution. So here is our guess, is that Tn is less than or equal to lambda times n log n. N log n. So if I write Lg, that means the base is 2. Lgn means log of n base 2. Tn less equal to a lambda n log n for some constant lambda. We'll see what lambda to choose, or calculation will tell us what lambda to choose. So we'll prove this by induction. So base case T1 equal to T1 is less than equal to lambda, T1 equal to 0, and so it is T1 equal to, because log 1 is 0, so T1 equal to 0 and base case is satisfied. This is less than C prime. So base case is done. So assume that the statement holds for 1 to n minus 1, and we will show it for n. So what is Tn? Tn equal to, we are given that less than equal to 2t n by 2 plus 5. 2t n by 2 plus 5 plus Cn. Okay, and now expand using this. This is less than equal to 2 lambda n by 2 plus 5 log n by 2 plus 5 plus Cn. Okay, and then what do we get is, this is equal to twice lambda n log n by 2 plus 5 plus 10 log n by 2 plus 5 plus Cn. What C time? This is C times n, Cn. Okay, and what is our goal? Our goal is to show, we want to show, this is to show that this is less than equal to lambda n log n. Okay, now do the back calculation, and what lambda we should choose is that, so this will hold for lambda greater than equal to Cn plus log 10 log n by 2 plus 5 by n log n minus 2n log n by 2 plus 5. Okay, assume is n large enough so that this particular term is positive, and this n log n minus 2n log n by 2 plus 5, this is positive, and this is like n log n. So you pick a constant lambda, which is now you observe that there is a decreasing term. So this term is a decreasing term. Okay, and because this term is a decreasing terms and goes towards to the 0 and goes to 0. goes to 0 as n tends to infinity. So for large enough n, you can find a constant lambda so that this equality holds, and which is same as this equality holds, and thus we are able to show. Okay, so so typically that's how you can show using substitution method and prove using induction. So why I said that you can ignore substitution method if you are not forced to do so, because often this calculation is messy, and for example, if you can, unless clearly specified that using substitution method you show, you can use these steps. How can we ignore even these constants? So here we saw, right, that how by domain transformation you can ignore these constants. So you can first do the domain transformation and first get rid of this constant. And once you get rid of this constant, then and there is no ceiling and upper bound, ceiling or floor. So those ceiling and floors also you can get rid of because of that calculation, and then you simply solve it using recursion tree method or master theorem. So typically this comes to rescue, this substitution method comes to rescue, because if in rare cases you will come you can come up with a recurrence, you can encounter a recurrence relation where this master theorem fails. What do you mean by master theorem fails? The drawback of the master theorem or the recursion tree method is that those cases are not exhaustive. Those cases are not. So in master theorem we have 3 cases. So you can have a recurrence relation which does not satisfy any of the 3 cases. You can take it as an exercise to come up with a recurrence relation which does not satisfy any of the 3 cases of the master theorem. Now in those recurrence relations you can't solve using master theorem, and then if you can guess the right asymptotic behavior, then you can solve using this substitution method. Okay, so obviously the drawback of the substitution method is that you have to guess the solution, which again sometimes becomes trickier. Okay.